All right, I think everybody made it in. Sorry for the late start, everyone. We had some technical difficulties on my end. But welcome. Thank you guys all so much for joining this morning. My name is Ben, and I am a program manager at States 4-H International. We are an exchange organization that's been around for about 45 years and have done all kinds of different exchanges, including year-long high school exchanges with the Flex and the Yes programs, which are funded by our government, specifically the US Department of State. And the Flex program, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, seeing as how I think we have some Flex Poland folks here, is a program that's really designed to bring high school youth to the US to allow them to experience American culture through an academic exchange for a year. And one of our most recent participants was Daria, who's joined us today. She was nice enough to take some time out from her family vacation in Croatia to share a little bit about her exchange year in Kansas. So Daria was in a really small town in Kansas, which I'm sure she'll talk about, called White City, where she spent a year. And Daria also was a presenter at our annual conference as well, which I think she may also touch on. So we're really excited that she's back to speak with us about her exchange year. Just a heads up for everybody, we are recording this. So if you don't want to be on the recording for any reason, just shoot me a message in the chat box, okay? And we'll make sure that you don't show up in the recording. If you guys have questions throughout this, because it's always awesome if it's a little bit more of a conversation, feel free to also use the chat box to ask questions. At the end, after Daria presents, we'll have a chance to do a little Q&A. So I'll ask some questions, but if you have questions, please also feel free to include those so we can make sure to cover any of those. So with all that, I'll hand it over to Daria for her presentation.
All right, thank you. So as Ben said, I'm a Flex student. I'm a Flex alumna right now. And Flex stands for Future Leaders Exchange Program. And exactly as Ben said, it's funded by Department of State. And what I want to talk about is my year in America. And I would definitely say there are five main things that made my exchange so unique, so different than others, I'd say. And that would be the town I lived in, that was White City, my American friends, all the new experiences I experienced in the States, my school in the States, which I will definitely touch on because it was super unique. And then all the places I got a chance to see, other than Kansas, obviously. So I'll let Ben scroll one slide now. And the first slide is my trip to the United States, which was definitely crazy. And let me tell you why it was so full of memories. I don't know if Ben is fully aware of what actually happened on my trip to the United States, but we got evacuated on the airport and we had to spend another night in Germany. So as you can see on the picture on the left, that's me in Warsaw. And my trip was supposed to be from Warsaw to Frankfurt, Germany, to Chicago, and then to Manhattan, Kansas. But because of the huge situation in Germany, we got to spend the night in Frankfurt. And because of that, I couldn't fly through Chicago. I flew through Dallas, Texas, which is definitely not on the way from Washington, D.C. to Kansas. So that was odd. And we were definitely tired because we were also very not prepared to sleep in Germany because we had no clothes with us. We had nothing with us, pretty much. The only thing I had on me at that moment was my teddy bear, my phone, my charger, and my laptop. And that's all I had. There was no toothbrush, no clothes, no pajamas. I was definitely not prepared for that situation. So it was a little crazy. And so you can imagine going to the hotel in Germany thinking, wow, I will have a chance to take a shower right now, but I do not have pajamas to turn to. So I'm gonna take off my clothes, take a shower, and then go back into those sweaty clothes and go to sleep like that. It was pretty bad. And I remember washing our socks in a sink and hoping they're gonna dry for the next morning, because that would suck if they didn't. But we finally made it, and you can see my picture with Lisa, who is a Ukrainian alumna, and she also stayed in Kansas. And we made it there. We were super tired and probably super sweaty, but we made it. And the Flex program is very, very specific for it, that there are many, many countries taking part of it in it. And we met all of the other Flexers, not from Poland, in Frankfurt. So there were around, I would say, 400 Flex and Yes students in Frankfurt that moment when we got evacuated. And 100 of us didn't make the plane after the evacuation. So I was one of them. And how I actually found out about the Flex program is I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw an advertisement for it. And I just thought, oh my God, this is a chance for me. But I knew how competitive this program is. And because there are around 4,000 people applying for this program in Poland, and only around 40 are chosen. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna apply because I have nothing to lose, but there is probably not a chance I'm gonna get in. And I just told my parents, hey, I'm gonna apply, but I'm not gonna get in, so don't worry. And then things just went crazy from there because I actually got in. So I was like, okay, never mind, I'm actually going to America. So that was crazy, and that all went super fast, even though the application process takes a year. It really, to me, it was going like super crazy. So you can go one side there. Where I was placed is White City. And let me just give you a background. I am from a town of Torun, which is 200,000 people. And White City is under 600 people. The population is under 600 people. So pretty much everyone knew every single person in that town. So did we have any stores? No. There was a gas station and you could buy some stuff there. And there was one bar that had some food, but there was not much of it. Like there was some burgers, some fries. That's probably all you could get there. Fried okra maybe. But to me, it was crazy that every single person knew every single person, and they knew everything. So you can only imagine how many gossips and all that was going around town. Like, oh my God, this person's doing that and that and that. Like everyone knew every single person. And the closest Walmart, like to give you a reference, was about 30 minutes away by car. And the closest Target would be 40 minutes. So it was a little, we would call it boondocks, because it was pretty much like that. And the population of 500 is not only White City, it's also the town of Skitty, which is a ghost town now. So they don't, like, they pretty much combine that. And on those pictures, you can see my homecoming, which touches a little bit on my school. And what was so crazy about my school is the fact that it was only 40 students. And like the senior class was 13. So we can only imagine our class events. They were very small, or anything was pretty small. The school, like from pre-K to 12 through 12 grades, was 200. So that was, like, I would say an okay size to think. But then you go, high school was only 40. So it's about 10 people per class, which was crazy to me because my school in Poland is 500 people and it's just high school. And what made my school so crazy, not only the fact that the size was just so minimal, it was that there were also 2 other exchange students, and because we were exchange students, they thought they had to give us an opportunity to do everything. And I thought that was amazing. And I know many people in bigger schools didn't get that chance. For example, my school made a special game plan for a basketball game, so I got a chance to play varsity, not only JV, because I suck at basketball, so they only let me play C team or JV, but they let me do one game in varsity so I could get a varsity letter. And I also got to volunteer in preschool, since that was one thing. Our school was just one building, and I would go there every other day, and that was amazing. I could play with 4 years old instead of having a class. I mean, what could be better? And here you have pictures from our homecoming. It was the football homecoming. On the left, you have an exchange student from Brazil. That's Lucas. And on the bottom, you can see our float, because we had an actual parade that you see in the movies, that there are those parades that students go and build those floats. That was amazing. And our theme of the thing was something like football in the boondocks or something like that. And we had to come up with a motto and the float itself. And we lost. We got last place because our motto was when in the boondocks flock the Trojans, and we had those flamingos as a flock. But we got disqualified because the teachers thought we were meaning a different F word. So we got disqualified. So yeah, that's awesome. You can scroll one picture. So that would make my that was like a little bit of my school. And then there's new experiences that I was talking about. One of those would be definitely Halloween, that we don't celebrate in Poland at all. So having a Halloween and having all those decorations around house, around school, was crazy. But I did not go trick-or-treating that year. We created, our senior class that you can see on a picture, created a haunted house. We had a house that my host family actually owned. They let us pretty much demolish and cover it with paint and cover it with spider webs and make it a haunted house. And we made it a class fundraiser. So after that, like the money we got from the haunted house, we got to spend on our senior trip, which was awesome. And I pretty much spent the whole night hiding in a field, jumping at people and scaring them, which was an amazing experience. And so we were wearing black so they couldn't see us. And there were some people wearing other costumes because they were inside the house scaring them. That was really crazy. I did go for the haunted house once before we opened it, just to like check if everything works. And even though I knew what was waiting for me, I screamed every time something would jump at me. So that was hilarious for others to watch, not for me. And you can scroll one more slide, and I'm gonna talk about the fact, the thing that Ben mentioned, that I was on a conference, an annual conference in Denver. And that was my first time to leave the state, the state of Kansas. And I flew from, wow, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I flew from Salina through Hayes to Denver. And first thing that happened in Denver, I got lost on the airport because the airport was so huge. I obviously got lost. And after I found my way to the airport taxi, whatever, we started this weekend, which was super crazy. My favorite thing about it was meeting Mayu and Rachel, the other exchange students. Rachel was from Florida, but she went to Japan, and Mayu was a Japanese exchange student. And we became friends. I mean, that was incredible experience to meet them, to meet other States 4-H people, I would say coordinators, and all those people. It was crazy. One thing that really surprised me and surprised all three of us was that Ben let us just go downtown Denver with no supervision. He let us, 3 teenagers that have never been to Denver before, just go, find yourself a train, like go. And we were like, oh my God, we're gonna get lost. And we did, but we but we found our way. We didn't die. We came on time for dinner. So I mean, it all worked. But we were just like, wow, this is really happening. He let us do that. And we went to the aquarium. We went to the Money Museum. We got hot chocolate in that bookstore. It was crazy. It was really cold because it was Colorado, and also it was November. Yeah. And it was super fun talking to people and giving my presentation. I thought it was amazing. And I also got a 2-people bedroom for myself, also amazing. Really cool. So that was great. That was a great experience. And then you can go another slide up. And that's basketball. And I was very bad at basketball, but I did it anyway. Um, um, I played JV and C team, and also I played varsity once, so I got my varsity letter. And honestly, amazing experience to experience the sport there, but also it was very tiring. We had 2-hour long practices every day, including the winter break, and we had a game night every Friday. So, I mean, it was a little tiring. I was sore every single day I would wake up. I was like, oh my God, I'm not getting up. I'm not going to school. But I would go to school every day anyway. Uh, but it was amazing to meet new friends. Since our school was so small, we couldn't have basketball team by ourselves. We combined. We had like 2 schools combined because we were an 1A school. We had 2 1A schools combined, so we could play in 1A league because they were so small schools. So we played with we were White City Huskies, and the other school was Hope Lions, and we together were Rural Vista Heat, Lady Heat. So it was awesome to meet also the students from the other school. And we would also travel every single day for practice back and forth to Hope, or they would travel to White City and back. So it would take an hour to go there and come back. So that was, fun to ride the school bus. I mean, the yellow bus. So obviously it was fun. And I could sleep in the bus after the practice. So that was also pretty nice. But the sports themselves, like, they were super, super fun, and I definitely enjoyed them as an activity. Basketball was not my favorite, definitely, but I definitely enjoyed track. I did running. I did a mile, half mile, and then 2 relays. But we only did relays on meets that were not big because we were a pretty bad team. So, so we only did relays if there were less than 3 teams competing, so we could got an award for having last place, but that would still be 3rd place. And the thing that was not a sport, but it was a club that I enjoyed the most was Scholars Ball. And I don't know if you guys are familiar or you know what that is, but if you watch those American movies, there are often like those quiz balls that there are people sitting and they have those buzzers, and there's someone asking question and they answer with that buzzer. And that was just, to me, that was like in a movie. And I was on the varsity team of that, and we got 3rd place in regionals. We were pretty good. I was answering most of the questions, and I was like feeling like, oh my God, I'm the smartest person in the world, which was a crazy experience to me. Sadly, I don't have any pictures from those meets because we would never take a photographer, or we would never take pictures because we were scared our phone would ring during the meet, and if it did, we would immediately lose. So we would turn off our phones for the whole meet. But those meets were the funnest thing ever. We got to travel to different cities, and we just played with those buzzers and answered those questions. It was super crazy for me. You can go up another slide. And prom. I mean, what is like more like in a movie than prom? To me, prom was super cool. I got a promposal before prom, which was great. It involved math and involved solving math problems to get like a riddle, want to go to prom thing. It was crazy. And prom itself to me wasn't that big of a deal, but after prom, that not all schools get, was the coolest thing in the world. It was like game night, and it was organized by the senior parents because no one wanted the seniors to, after prom, go party somewhere else. So they organized a game night at school, and we had like a huge bubble soccer. We had ping pong, we had foosball, we had a 9 square, we had like laser tag and stuff. And we could win money, we could win prizes. I think I left after prom with like $100 in cash, and then like a gift card for Amazon for like $150, and then like a few t-shirts and some gadgets. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And and so prom itself, like prom pictures, that was amazing. We had a prom dinner, we had the dance. The theme was the night at Gatsby's. It was super fancy, even though it was organized at school because it was so small. It really wasn't that big to like, or like rent a hall or something, like a hotel. So we had it at our little gym at school, but it was nice, and you can see those cute pictures. We got to wear those flowers on a hand that I don't remember the name for. Um, and it was nice, and definitely it was the experience that was like in a movie. And when I was in the States, my friends always like joked about how often I was referring to the fact that I'm in a movie. I was just walking around being like, oh my god, I'm in a movie, I'm literally living a movie. And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I think I am. And so going to the next slide, um I think it is, oh yes, it is graduation. And that was, no, it's not a graduation yet, it's the senior trip. Right before graduation, our senior class got to travel to Colorado Springs, which was an amazing trip. And that was one of the places I saw that just blew my mind, and it changed my way to think, I would say. um, it was just the views. I've never seen anything like that before. And also awesome thing, because of all the fundraisers we did, we didn't have to pay anything for the trip. And we also got like $200 before going, each person would get to just spend on a trip, because we earned so much during the haunted house and all the other fundraisers we created. And we visited so many places. And that was also the first time during my exchange year that I saw someone who was Polish on the streets. And it was the craziest memory I have. I was just walking around the town called Manitou Springs, which is very small, very pretty. And I saw those people talking, and they were talking in English. And this guy said, yeah, I'm from Scotland. And the girl looked at him, and she was like, I'm Polish. And I just stopped, and I was like, no way. And it turned out she was actually from Poland, and we like spoke for 30 minutes, I think. Um, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh my god, I've been missing Polish language, and it's crazy to see you. And she was like, I haven't spoke like in Polish other than like on a phone for years now, and it's insane. And we both were like so happy to see each other, even though we haven't met each other before. um and the slide right after that is obviously graduation, which was the most like in a movie experience I had. Because look at those red caps and gowns, they look exactly like from High School Musical. So I was in High School Musical, actually. and and the ceremony was beautiful, even though it was only 13 seniors. It was amazing. We all got roses, and we had to like give them to people that inspired us throughout the years, or in my case, 1 year. And I would give them to teachers, to my host family, to my youth group mentor, my club mentors like FCA, or other people that actually helped me through the year. So that was amazing. That was an amazing experience. I got to throw my cup, and then run back for it. So I have it, and I have my cap and gown at home, because it was just, I was thinking the entire ceremony, I was like, oh my god, I'm in High School Musical. When are we starting to sing? Like, it was crazy, and I definitely enjoyed it. I just wish like my family would be there, because it was such an amazing thing. But luckily, I had people record it, so my parents could watch and be like, oh my god, we're there, we're there. So that was great. And the next slide, I'm assuming, is my FCA trip, which was amazing. Yes, it is. We we went on a road trip through St. Louis, Missouri, to Atlanta, Georgia, and then back to Kansas through Nashville, Tennessee. And it was amazing. We stayed in Georgia, in Atlanta, for a week, and that's where I met up with my other flexer friend, and we spent a whole day together in Six Flags. So that was pretty awesome. And that's where we took this picture with the Polish flag. And we visited so many places. We stayed in a house with a pool, so we also like got a chance to swim every single day from morning to the night. And that was amazing. So it was an FCA trip, and FCA stands for a Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So it was pretty much like a church trip, but it really wasn't. So it was a nice balance, because all those people were so nice, and we all were just there to enjoy our summer because it was already after graduation. And I was lucky enough. My graduation was 11th of May, and I was going back home like over a month after that. So I got to enjoy a month of my summer in the States, which was crazy, and which made my actual summer so long because I went back to school September 1st. So it was like 3 months of summer or more. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And all those experiences, I'm thinking I haven't really touched on my friends in the States. I think people I met in my clubs, in Scholars Ball, on Scholars Ball meets, on sports meets, were incredible. I still am in touch with like 4 or 5 or more people from my exchange that are American or were exchange students as well. I have met some exchange students on track meets. I definitely met this girl from Germany. That was extremely nice, and we are still in touch, which is amazing. And I think new experiences are like, there were so many of them. I couldn't even touch on all of them, but all these new food. I mean, my favorite like place to eat was Freddy's because it looked like from a movie. I mean, looked like a diner from a movie. And I love the fact that because of the way I got to spend my exchange, the place I got to spend my exchange, which was so different than my hometown, I got to experience the culture and I got to learn the culture. And I definitely said this, I definitely referred to this thing in Denver, and I remember Ben liking that I think the culture is like wearing sunglasses, and me being Polish is like, imagine my Polish sunglasses would be red, and I would go to the States wearing my red sunglasses, and I see everything in my culture, like the way we were raised and the way that I understand things. And then I meet those Americans wearing their sunglasses that's, let's say, blue, and they see things differently, and they don't understand things the way I do, and I don't understand. I mean, they ate watermelon with salt. I mean, I could never understand that. And I went there being like, okay, this is not normal, but it was normal for them, because they were raised differently, they saw things differently. And me spending there a year let me like change my sunglasses, and sometimes I can wear those, sometimes I can wear those, sometimes I can wear both and see in purple, see those two colors combined, and just change my perspective. And that's amazing because it helps me understand more. And I think like right now, especially right now in the world with all that hate happening, like changing those sunglasses, seeing a difference, and really understanding this different culture is like what people need. And I'm really upset that this year flexers are not going to America because of the situation with COVID, because this is the time we actually need it. But I hope they're gonna get to go in January or next year. All right, I think that was the last slide, but you can, yep, there is. So I'll let Ben ask me, or other people ask me questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daria. And please, everyone, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box and we'll pass them along. As you can hear from Daria, she had such a wonderful year and had so many of those kind of highlights that we always imagine that our exchange students will. So some of those benchmarks like prom and homecoming and
Yeah.
the school clubs and competitions and getting involved in school sports. But I want to go back to the very beginning. And when you found out that you got into the Flex program, can you talk a little bit about that moment? Like, where were you and how did you feel?
Definitely. It was a fun day. I remember a week before the results, I got an email saying that I need to do some medical things. And it just kind of like put like a red flag in my head, like being like, okay, this sounds like it might be a sign, but I couldn't really say it was a sign because like I didn't have the results yet, so I couldn't really be happy yet. But at the same time, I remember them during the semifinals telling us that we only have to do those medical stuff if we get in. So I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but let's not get too excited yet. And it like a week went by, and I remember seeing on like Flex Facebook saying, oh, there is the results are in, like everyone who is a finalist or or like on the list. I forgot the word, I'm sorry. Um, is gonna get a phone call. All the other people are getting an email. And I remember looking through my email and I didn't get an email. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I was in school and I got a phone call during a PE class. I wasn't able to take it. So I called back. I got information. I'm a finalist. And I was like, oh my God, I need to call my parents. And what's funny, my parents were not in Poland at that moment. They were skiing in France, I think, and or in Austria, doesn't matter. And I remember calling my dad, and I was like, Dad, I'm going to America. And my dad was in the middle of skiing, and he actually fell. He was like, oh my God, I'm gonna call you back, but my skis are flying like all around the slope. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And so that was pretty awesome. And I remember being like super excited. And I remember my friends being like excited, but also not very happy and leaving them and like, okay, that's cool for you, but also what?
So
So
what
that was
about
an
when you found out about White City? Because you talked about your city of 200,000 people, and then you gave
yeah.
the placement information. And I'm sure, what did you do? Did you look up White City on Google or like?
Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah.
I googled, I did street view. I googled like everything I could. I mean, it definitely, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to an actual place where there are gonna be cowboys, and there were. There were people driving their tractors to school. We had goats near the school. We had an actual greenhouse in the school. I was like, oh my God, this is like real, the Western kind of like, this is crazy. It was an insane thing. Um, so I was like, wow, this is actually insane where I'm going with. It was crazy.
Did you
And
feel
I
nervous by it? Like, how did you?
definitely,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna adjust to a place that's so small, that doesn't have like 5 malls? And how am I gonna like deal with that? But then I was like, yeah, I mean, I can do anything. Like, obviously I'm gonna adjust, like, duh. So I was excited. I was definitely excited.
And so it sounds like, and I know this because I followed your exchange year, but you got really involved in a lot of different activities. So is that something
Yes.
that you recommend to other exchange students? Like along
Oh,
with that, what other
definitely.
pieces of advice would you have for future flexors
Um,
in Poland or future flexors in general slash future exchange
I would
students?
say definitely get involved in all the activities that are possible, because they let you make friends. And I know in my school it wasn't difficult to make friends because there were so little of us, but in many bigger schools it's super difficult to make friends because they're already having those groups. You know what I mean. And I'm sure people understand that there are groups of friends, and it's difficult to get in a group like that. So doing sports, doing activities is definitely amazing to do, and getting involved in all clubs possible. I was involved in student council, FCA, youth group, basketball, track, scholars ball, 4-H. Am I missing something? The only club I was not involved was FFA, because I didn't think I'm a farmer and I was not interested in that at all. But all the other clubs possible, I was involved in, because I thought, yeah, like, why not?
And
So
so
I definitely, that would be a thing I would say. And then any other advice, I would probably recommend just really staying true to yourself during the exchange, because it's so easy to lose it and be like trying so hard to adjust and to fit in, stop, like, and some people stop being so true to themselves and doing what they love. And I think it's super important to remember who you are, even if the situation is so challenging and you're struggling finding friends, you're having some other struggles maybe at school, and it's difficult to stay yourself in that situation. But I would definitely recommend thinking like, okay, am I myself, or am I trying to be someone else?
And during those challenging moments, which we know all of our exchange students experience, whether, like you said,
Yeah.
it's a difficult moment in school, or maybe you have a disagreement with your host family, some other
Yes.
kind of challenging moment, did you manage those moments? How did you stay positive and get through them?
I would definitely think, if I'm having an argument with someone, I'd be like, okay, will this matter to me in 5 years? Probably not. So why do I bother? And also, this is my year, and like, I can make mistakes. This is okay, and they don't matter. Some people don't matter that much to lose all my energy fighting for a friendship or fighting for something. Sometimes just have to be, kind of, I don't want to say the word sneaky, but a little bit, just find a way for yourself, and do not care about an argument if it's not going to matter in a year or two. If it's just going to be like for 5 minutes, then why do you even put energy in that? Like, just let it be. You're going to be fine. I mean, if you already got into a flex or a yes program, you're going to be fine. If the whole application process was hard enough, you definitely are going to be fine.
I think it's a really good piece of advice. Thinking in the long term, because in those challenging moments, sometimes it's hard to get in that mindset. But so
Definitely.
I know you're also. Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, like, with if you can reach out to your local coordinator or your state coordinator. I think if there are like any local or state coordinators watching that, I would definitely give them an advice to be to have like a very the relationship build and trust with their student. And also maybe a very stupid advice, be on Facebook. Like, I know this sounds like weird, but in my case, my problem with a coordinator would be that I didn't have a way to reach them because they weren't on Facebook, and I didn't have service to call them on my phone in my house, in my host family house. So I didn't have a chance to call them or contact them in any other way other than email, but they wouldn't respond to emails. So I would recommend being on Facebook or being on other social media that your students would be able to contact you without, letting your the whole host family knowing about that, being like, oh, I'm going to use the home phone to call my local coordinator to complain about you. Like, I know this sounds stupid, but definitely having a way, especially now, since generation like me, we don't like talking on the phone. We rather text. Not being able to do that was pretty annoying.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice, and something we've shared and tried to encourage our coordinators and volunteers to think about is to meet our youth where they're at, which is usually social media.
Yeah.
So let's talk about kind of post-program stuff. And I know you've been involved with the alumni community, the Flex Poland alumni community. And so how did you get involved with that? And can you talk a little bit about what that experience is like now?
Sure. Well, I am a CR of touring in Poland right now. And it's actually like, I think my last month of being a CR, because we only get a chance to be a CR for a year. And I got involved just by wanting to. And it's not difficult. If you want to be involved with the Flex alumni community, you just let them know and they're going to be excited. Other than being a CR and having a chance to organize events, I organized fundraisers. I'm actually in the middle of organizing a big event, but it had to be canceled because of COVID. But my friend and I we pretty much had the whole event planned out about dealing with stress and anxiety with like a whole workshop with a psychologist and all. And we got a huge grant to do it, and we still have the money, but I don't know when it's gonna happen, like, because of COVID. But other than that, there are many opportunities for alumni, especially, I don't know about ES program, but with Flex program, there are many opportunities like flexibility workshop that is held pretty much every year, I think. I don't know how it will be this year because of COVID. But last year I got a chance to go to the flexibility workshop, which was about storytelling, about making videos, photography, which was super crazy. And I loved that. It was a week and it was in Warsaw, sadly, because I would rather have it in Ukraine or somewhere there to travel. And I was like, okay, I can take a train to Warsaw. All right. And there are also other like media literacy workshops. I did take one of those online because of COVID. I wasn't able to do that in person. There's Flex Camps workshop. I know it was last year in Ukraine. And there are so many of those. And if a Flexer like an alumni wants to be involved, they definitely can. And it's not very difficult to be accepted to those workshops because there's so many places, there's so many spots for them to be there. But there are not that many people who really truly want to want to do that. And I think that's a shame because they're amazing opportunities for us.
Definitely, yeah. And so I have one last question for you, but I wanted to again encourage anyone who had questions to definitely ask them. You can also just unmute yourself if you'd like, so feel free to do that as well. But so Daria, now that you've finished the program, you are a Flex alumna. How do you imagine
Yes.
the Flex program and your experience impacting you in the future, in the long term?
I think it definitely had a huge like it really changed me. Like it's like the change is huge, and I cannot imagine my life without the program. It's and I well, it definitely helped me set my path in life and what I want to do, what I did. I got so much time to think about it. Like my school was not very difficult in terms of schoolwork, so I got a chance to work on other stuff that I'm interested in, and it really helped me develop a way I want to go in life. And I thought it was amazing, and because of that, I got a path figured out, what I want to do, where I want to go, where I want to live, and all that. And because without Flex, I'm not sure if I would be in the same position right now. I would probably not be. I would probably be still thinking, what am I doing? Um, so so I definitely want to stay involved with Flex. I have been a city representative this year, and I'm thinking of being the alumni coordinator in few years. Not this year, definitely, because I'll be busy. It will be my senior year of high school. So definitely not this year, but maybe when I finish high school, that would be an awesome experience for me. Um, and to keep in touch with the community, because alumni community, the Flex community, is incredible, and I love those people, and we all organize events together. We learn so much because of each other, and I mean, I couldn't imagine it better.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Want to give
Thank
a
you for
chance
having me.
to anybody else to ask some final questions for Daria. Daria, I know again you are
Oh,
on
damn,
vacation with
my
your
nose running. I'm
family
sorry.
in Croatia. So thank you for taking some time out of your vacation to
Thank
share your
you.
wisdom and your experience with us. And
My wisdom, wow.
for all the folks who are a part of this, feel free to reach out to me via email if you want to connect with Daria. And I know we have a bunch of folks from Poland on, so do feel free
Yes.
to contact me if you want to make a connection with Daria. But again, thank you so much for taking some time, and to everybody who
Thank
joined, thank you so
you.
much to you all for taking some time. I think we'll end it there, but I wish everyone a really good end of your week, and yeah, best of health. Stay safe in these very crazy and uncertain times.
Yeah, yeah. All
Awesome.
right.
Okay, well, thanks everyone. Take care,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you next time.
Bye.